Hey guys, it's Epic Underworlds. Today I'm be making the first video in a series called Card Game World Building. You can use this for any game really, but it's mainly focused on card games. So I make handmade trading card games, and in order to really add depth to your card game and a lot of engagement for yourself, adding pieces of your world into each card makes it really fun. But first you gotta craft that world. And crafting this world and adding all these little details step by step will give you so many card ideas that it's really a great way to get inspiration for cards. Today we'll be starting on the kind of plants, the plant life of your world. And this is really important because adding any of these plants into the backgrounds of your cards will just be so much fun. Because, you know, I see so many card games where all the background is just grass and maybe a tree, but adding your own plant life from like a little sketchbook of them you made is so much fun, and it can create so many card ideas and even ability ideas. So let's get right into it. This video was actually inspired by this botanical sketchbook I got, and it's really cool, and I think that this is something you could do with your own card game. In the next video of this series, I'll probably do one on animals or maybe trees, something like that. So let's get started. So first you're gonna be taking out any piece of paper. You can even get out a sketchbook and call it your botanical handbook. You can call it anything you want, but that is actually the name of my planet for the game. And Languor comes from dreamy mood. That's what that word means. So I just added that to the name of the world. And now we can actually do the plants. So the first plant I created, and again, you don't have to make these anything special. You don't even have to add color, but making just little sketches, then you can later reference them when adding them to the backgrounds of your cards is really fun. So the first one's Garlucian. I just thought that was a cool name, and adding little notes to each plant makes it even more cool. So this plant has a root network to survive. That's why it's got so many roots. And it's unlike normal plants, its roots spread for like miles. And its petals harden during really dry seasons. So first off, it has so many roots because then it allows it to get moisture from all over, even in arid climates. And during the dry seasons, its petals kind of turn into a harder substance for other creatures to basically survive on. It's like its petals become little snacks. And then we got the tumbleglades, some sort of grass, and these can be woven into really cool baskets and stuff by the locals. And it's a common food for small insects and birds, so that's the second one. Third one is the lotus reeds. I really liked the black lotus from Magic the Gathering. I think a lot of people do, so I kind of made my own version. And it secretes a sweet liquid, which creates extreme lucid dreaming. So if you want to have extreme lucid dreaming, you know, that's the plant. This one I'm really happy with. This is called the Poet's Paper. And it's basically, its petals are really good for paper. And a lot of creatures take its petals and write on them. That's kind of how they get paper in the world because they don't like chopping down trees. And it's very long lasting. So yeah, I think that's a really cool one. This is a personal favorite, the Fluff Seed. I know in the Abyss Gardens TCG, they have this kind of theme of fluffs, which are these little creatures. So inspired by that, I created the Fluff Seed, and it slowly travels around the lands. And once it finds the perfect spot, it can create a whole forest, which I think is really cool. They're really rare, but when they find the perfect space, which they slowly like inch around the world like a little worm, and once they find it, then they can create a whole ecosystem. Next one is the Lucid Root. This one's really cool because it can grow really big and it can go really deep into the world, and the inside of its roots are hollow, so it can basically create cave systems, but that'll only come after like many, many years. So I think I'm gonna make some card arts where there's like travelers in the cave systems, and then I'll probably make a fluff card where there's like a fluff forest or some sort of card like that. And then this is the last one called the Whisper Shrooms. So basically, I really liked this concept. They pop up, you know, in random parts of the world, and they collect audio from its scenery. So if a passerby is talking about a conversation, or if someone's singing, they will internalize that and at random points just say those things, kind of like a bird. They will take in a bunch of stuff and they can live for thousands of years. So let's say there was a conversation 1,000 years ago, they can later just reuse that conversation, which is really interesting. So you can just be walking by and it'll say a random poem or something which is kind of a cool idea. And I think a really good tip in order to make this is to have like a draft sheet. So this is like my draft sheet of it, just so you don't have to have a messy botanicals handbook. So you can make this as big as you want. This is just part one of it. I'll probably add a bunch more plants, but these are going to be the plants I'm going to be using for my next cards I make, which I have a lot of new ones to show you guys, so I'll probably save that for a new video or for the next video. But stay tuned, and I hope this video helped you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.